I first met the spiritual school 2 years ago. The mentors were holding a seminar in our city. I saw a poster at the bus stop while waiting for the bus. At that moment, I was deeply troubled about my future. Just a month before, 2 events had completely knocked me off the tracks. First, I went through a divorce after 23 years of marriage, and right after the divorce, I lost my job, along with the ability to provide for my family. My eldest son was in his 3rd year of university, and my daughter was about to enter university. I couldn't imagine how I would find a way out of this situation, how I would feed and clothe my children well. I had always dreamed that my children would succeed in life, achieve everything they aspired to. But what could I do? Standing at the bus stop, I prayed silently, reaching out to God. I asked for guidance out of this situation. At that moment, a feeling of confidence that everything would be all right arose within me. And obeying that feeling, I looked up, seeing a poster for the seminar in front of me. I understood that there was a direct connection between my prayer and the poster I saw. It was an answer from God. I went to the specified location the next evening. There, a woman in her 40s was talking about the seminar program. I felt that it was exactly what I needed. I was taken aback when I learned about the price of the seminar, but later decided that it was a sin to save money, since God Himself directed me to it. Besides, I liked the topics of the seminar right away. There was business magic, Cleopatra's magic, the art of being attractive. There was a lot of new and interesting information about healing. I also wanted something bright and spiritual to enter my life. In short, I signed up for the 3-day seminar. Those 3 days were the turning point in my life. I finally began to realize that I am the owner of myself and my life. I learned the basics of true spiritual teachings and the fundamentals of cosmic morality. I understood what it means not to acquire, but to be open to the higher mind, to act openly, but not for oneself. I wanted to become richer, but more for my children and less for myself. I wanted to learn how to help people, including the sick ones. They showed me the way. They gave me something that is impossible to touch or name, but I have felt it constantly since then. I learned an important secret of magic. The power of desire combined with connection to the higher mind works wonders. But most importantly, it is to achieve inner purity, through which true connection is possible. For this, many sacrifices are necessary. The divine power knows what I need. The most important thing is to manage money wisely. I remembered that now I had the email address of the support and care service. I immediately wrote a letter and ordered meditations and a magical crystal that I had wanted to buy at the seminar. I also asked to be informed where and when the nearest seminar would take place. Soon we received a response, along with links to the school's spiritual materials. It turned out that the nearest seminar would be in our city in a month, and they provided me with the phone number of the woman organizing this seminar. I could always get accurate information and the meeting place from her. I was irresistibly drawn to the seminar. I was also invited to attend a group in the city where they practiced yoga, meditation, and various spiritual practices. With my children, we started going there twice a week. At home, together with the children, we decided to engage in yoga additionally, douse ourselves in cold water, and meditate to the sounds of music of transformation. We really liked the new routine, although sometimes we had to push ourselves, force ourselves. But I felt how we were becoming a spiritually united and happy family, and new like-minded people appeared. The time for the seminar was approaching, and from the woman named Natalie, I learned the exact date and location. But then, as luck would have it, I received a court summons. The divorce process began. What to do? And then I thought, if I couldn't go, let my children go. It's just as important for them, and I'll pray for them to learn everything there. Of course, I assumed that they would change there, reconsider many things, but I wasn't prepared for such changes. The children came back elated and radiant. Right from the doorstep, they told me that they had been invited for 6 months to a special place of strong energy for deep spiritual development and self-discovery. My son, and especially my daughter, asked me to let them go and to pay the necessary amount of money for them. I was silent and didn't know what to say. I asked them to tell me more about the seminar. They spoke enthusiastically and actively, interrupting each other. I was glad that everything was going well for them. But then came a long, sleepless night. I thought about how cruel fate was to me. My husband left me, and now the children want to leave, leaving me alone for 6 months. How difficult it is to fight alone. I always relied on the support of my children. But then I remembered that many sacrifices are necessary for the sake of connecting with the divine power. I realized what terrible selfishness made me hold on to my children for my own comfort, not allowing them to grow and develop. After all, they must find and choose their own path. In short, in the morning, I started getting the children ready for the journey. And then I remembered that it was the date mentioned by the mentor during the divination session. So the second part of the prophecy came true, and I made the only right choice. I gathered the children, gave them money and spare clothes for all life situations, escorted them to the station, put them on the train, and blessed them from the bottom of my heart. As I walked home, information flowed to me about what to do next. The most important thing is that I need to gather people interested in spiritual knowledge and create a community. I decided to organize regular meditation sessions at my place, and it all needs to start with advertisements in the newspaper. I took care of the advertising. I placed short ads in various newspapers with my phone number. Then I started attending various religious gatherings, encouraging people to join my group, explaining to them the superiority of the great teachings over the small ones. Some people listened while others turned away or even condemned, but I still continued to encourage them. I started giving advice to different people, helping them in any way I could at the time. Gradually, more and more people started coming to my house. And when I organized regular sessions for a group of people at my place, I completely forgot what loneliness was. I felt how the divine power supported me. The divorce case in court was postponed due to the judge's illness. I tried not to think about it. I thought about what to tell people at the sessions the next day. A month later, I received the first letter from my daughter. She talked about how her training was going. At first, it was difficult for her to adapt to the strict schedule. My son also didn't immediately rid himself of old habits. Gradually, he learned to focus on the practices and new information given by the mentors. The knowledge was so extensive that he even got lost and didn't know what to focus on first. My daughter wrote that she had met such interesting people that she had never seen in her life, and that the mentors are superhumans. They read thoughts and see everything. Before going to bed, if the daughter tunes into the mentor, he comes in a dream, answers all questions, and imparts wisdom. My son was transferred to another department where he is intensively mastering the techniques of astro karate. The mentor said he is a future warrior who will fight dark powers and carry the school's will into the world. I finished reading the letter and thought, my son took an academic leave from the university. He'll finish when he comes back to the city in 6 months. But what about my daughter? Life is better with a diploma. I was thinking of writing to her, asking. Then, after a few days, I received a message from her. Mom, don't worry, I'm enrolling at a distance, learning at the university. Later, I found out that the mentors had read my thoughts and, having talked to the rector of the economics university in advance, offered my daughter to study remotely. Then they said, write to your mother not to worry. After that, I decided not to be distracted by such thoughts anymore. Divine power always helps those who serve and believe in it. As long as I'm with it, nothing bad will happen. My group was growing not by days, but by hours. After all, our school has so many interesting meditations and practices. Each time I gave something new and interesting. I created a ritual atmosphere at home. There are magical amulets and paintings all around, yantras, icons. I burn incense, and music of transformation constantly plays. Relatives came and said I had gone mad, but I look at their lives, listen to their conversations, and keep quiet about who among us is crazy. Whenever there's a problem or someone falls ill, they immediately come to me. I've gotten used to such changes. However, I didn't expect anything different in court. The judge asked me how I plan to live with the children, and I said, God will help us. My husband couldn't name the reason for divorcing me for a long time. He was gloomily silent. The judge insisted. Suddenly I heard, because he's a fool, a blind fool, he said, and walked out of the courthouse. I was stunned, not knowing what to do. I had nothing to do in court. I hadn't planned on getting divorced at all. I came home, and my husband greeted me at the door with flowers. I'm sorry, he said, for tormenting you and myself for no reason. And I said to him, I'll take you back if you help me with the group work. So we started living and working together. My husband, though, didn't understand much. It's hard to explain everything at once. I'm preparing him to go to the seminar. He'll learn faster there. Everything was going well for us. But then some sect appeared in our city. They practice witchcraft and black magic there. They started speaking ill of us. I'm not offended, but they deceive people and lead them astray from the spiritual path. 3 people from my group joined them. My husband went to talk to them. They didn't listen to him. And the next day, we found salt at the doorstep. And then they even started leaving cemetery bones. I prayed to the master for protection and support. In a dream, the master came to me and said not to be afraid to continue holding sessions. So I did. Half a year flew by imperceptibly. My son came, all strong and handsome. He conducted classes in our group so well, everyone started addressing him formally, just like a mentor. His energy was overflowing. My daughter decided to stay there until she finishes university, and then we'll see. She found her own path. She really wants to become a mentor or a priestess herself. She's better off there than anywhere else. My son, after learning more about the situation from us, decided to deal with this black sect. He spent the whole night performing rituals with shouts and sharp movements. The next day, he gathered our entire group, and we went to their camp to settle the score. We entered their hall, which they rented for their gatherings. They were just about to do something against us. My son loudly told their high priest that if he and his group didn't kneel before his parents right now, he would direct an egregore beam of energy to annihilate them. For a moment, they were confused, and then they started laughing openly and threatening us. Then my son silently clasped his hands, fingers intertwined in a special way in front of him. Silence fell. Everyone waited to see how it would end, but nothing happened. We left, and only the next day did we find out that they were all in the hospital with a diagnosis of dysentery. We were surprised. We asked my son what he had done. At the meeting, he explained to everyone that he had torn the tentacles out of their cocoons because they used them to attract evil spirits. They had time to repent, and then they would have preserved the tentacles of intention. But they didn't do that, so they got hit. After such a magical operation, they should have stomach problems for about a week. My son, addressing the group, added that we are now a spiritual community. We went through an initiation in astral combat and proved our allegiance to the Great Agartha. Although we didn't do anything at the time, we still felt involved in the victory over the enemies of the school. Time passed. Our community grew and enriched with new personalities. The mentors directed my son to the south to help organize a series of seminars. My daughter writes that she will soon go through an initiation as a priestess, and she will have a spiritual name. I am happy for my children. I am happy with the work I do with my husband. I don't need any other job. I know that what I do is needed by people and by the divine power, which gives me everything I dreamed of. And I am especially happy at the thought that my children are actively participating in the evolutionary process of spiritualizing our earth.
In our extreme times, when the fate of the entire planet is at stake, it is crucial for the knowledge of angels and benevolent spirits to spread as quickly as possible, globally, and reach thousands of people. In this way, we can change the future of all humanity. Which is why we are addressing you, dear soul of light. Spread the knowledge about our wise books and films. Share links to videos or cartoons. All of this is available and free. Invite women to individual practices, webinars, and seminars. And the Great Spirit of Light will help you and your family. It will direct an enormous amount of energy to fulfill all your desires. Benevolent spirits and angels will assist you and your loved ones in all matters. A thread of light and love extends from your heart to the hearts of thirsty women, and the creation of good and the dissemination of enlightened knowledge throughout the world begins. Become part of the mission of light. Help people, and God will help you.